Welcome, Sandie Fuenty. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is in beautiful sunny California. Dr. Laurie Davis here. Welcome to the show and to my very special guest, Sandie Fuenty. Sandie, great to have you.
Thank you so much. It is still morning here.
Right, right. Okay, well, Sandie, we've got about 45 minutes and we're going to chat back and forth about your beautiful product and what inspired that and all of that. So why don't we just start off right at the top with having you share your beautiful product.
Well, I'd love to.
Can
I
you
hope
hold it
it.
right up close? Yes. Okay. Till death do us part. Till death do us part. Oh, this is going to help
Exactly.
so many people. So many people. Yes. Now
It.
you're looking a little blurry to me. Do you look blurry to you?
No, I don't. I
Okay,
hope
perfect.
not.
All right. Excellent. All righty. So Sandie, let's talk a bit about the book. First of all, a little bit about you, a little bit of your background and your marriage and then losing your spouse. Over to you. Give us a little history.
Okay. Well, as you know, my name's Sandie Fuenty. Um, I've worn many different hats. My husband and I had a heating and air conditioning business for over 30 years, and I was very involved in it to the point where I did go out and work on the job sites, and I was the project manager. I bid the jobs. Um, I had to collect the checks, a little bit of everything when you're the wife of the owner. And at that point in time, we were living for our children and for our employees. We did not really prepare ourselves for the future. So Jim was a Vietnam veteran. We were married for 51 years. And the last 10 years of his life, the after effects of Agent Orange, the defoliant they sprayed over there, were very obvious. And he deteriorated this healthy, viral, macho man that couldn't even hold a tool anymore. So then the last 2 months of his life, he spent in hospitals and got to come home the day before he passed, because we asked if he could go home in hospital. We knew, being a veteran, he did not want to die in a hospital. And he had made that plain over the years that he actually never wanted to go into a VA hospital, but circumstances changed that. So I've been in Mary Kay for 33 years now. I've been big, little, everything in between, and it's just a product and a company I love. I'm also in financial services, and that came about after I was treated very rudely and like I was an idiot by someone that was investing my money. So I decided I'd educate myself, learn more about it, so that would never happen, and I'd be able to teach other people too how to be literate. So that was a new thing added to my life after he passed. I sold the house after a year, moved back into Orange County because my kids wanted me to, and also because my granddaughters are here. Penelope is 3, and she never got to meet Papa, but Sophia is 10, and she knew Papa very well.
Cool.
And we love animals.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yes.
Good. Yes. So that's a long time to be with someone, and especially in a situation where you work together as well. It's not like you said goodbye to him in the morning and you didn't see him for a week,
No.
2 days, or
24/7.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I did the same thing. Ron and I worked in our business till he retired about 5 years ago, and we worked side by side for like 30 years, and it's been quite the ride, I must say.
Yes.
Right.
You,
So,
you each learn to take on your own strengths to
right.
cover their weaknesses. And I
That's
thought
right.
that was an interesting learning time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk a little more now about the book.
Hmm.
And what do you think motivated you to get it's tough work writing a book. That does not come easily. So what was the need that you felt was out there after having this experience yourself?
I've written in anthologies before, and
Mhm.
I've enjoyed that. A friend of mine asked me to write a chapter in her anthology, and it was Greatness is the Journey. I'm sorry, volume one. And it was supposed to be an uplifting, inspiring, encouraging book. But all God was laying on my mind was talk about grief. And I had to figure out a way to do that that was not morbid or depressing.
Mhm.
And I believe I accomplished that. While I was writing that chapter, I realized um, how much experience I had that I would love to pass on to other widows, to other people that have lost someone, um, whether it be a child or a spouse or a parent. It's hard. It's very hard. So to me, once I started writing, I knew what I was going to write about. And more just kept coming so fluidly. And I was working with a coach that was helping me. And there were times where we would get together and on Zoom, and she had to put up with me rambling, sniffling, um, not knowing what to say or to do, and pulling things out of me that I didn't realize I had tucked away during that whole period of being strong during his illness. And, for him, for the kids, for the grandkid, at that time for Sophia, because she was in the middle of it, this little 6-year-old at the time.
Mhm.
Um, and she just took it in stride, even
Mhm.
when the amputation started. She drew a picture of Papa with on crutches with only half a
Oh.
leg, and but he was taking her to a carnival. So
Oh.
it was just interesting how through the eyes of a child,
Mhm.
and so I talk about the lessons I learned in the 5 stages of grief as as they revealed themselves to me, and they always didn't make sense. That was for
No,
sure.
I hear you on that. So, let me just ask you this, he had been sick for quite some time, and one would think that that gives us time to get ready for the passing over, or it's not so dramatic or traumatic. What are your thoughts on that?
I wonder about that. That's one of the what ifs. I wonder if it would have been easier if he went suddenly. But
Mhm.
I do think that God was preparing us for all this because he did the last year. He spent so much time in the hospitals. Our lives revolved around hospitals. And so we weren't at our home by ourselves. The last 6 months, we actually lived with our children. Uh,
Mhm.
and that was such a blessing for us. And especially for me, because I'd have to go to the hospital, come back, plop
Mhm.
into the bed they set up for me. And when he came home from those days, um, there was a hospital bed in the front room. So
Mhm.
we were just all there in the midst of it.
Mhm.
And so I know there's a thing, anticipatory grief. And there were times that I had to give it up to God. I was so just tired of it all. And, what he told me was, love him, just love him. And that I cannot fix him. And he was very opinionated anyway. And sometimes wouldn't do what the doctor said and things like that. A man. And so I did have to learn to live with things that were not the way I would have done things. And the kids had to learn, and Jim had to learn how to lose part of his pride and allow them to help him. And, whether it was just getting in and out of the bed.
Right.
There came a time when they had to help me treat his bed sores on his backside, which was, very disturbing for him. It was bad enough I had to do it, but and they had to. So,
well, what do you think? It's didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just going to say, you're bringing this up for me, and this is just a little bit of a rabbit trail, but what are your thoughts on it's more difficult for men to be dependent, to be sick, to be having to be pampered or babied? Do you think it's harder on men than it is on women?
I would say definitely. That would be my opinion. And because men of his generation were brought up to be the head of the household, to hold the job, to be the breadwinners, and to be the strong person in the family, not to show their delicate sides. And coming after Vietnam, I didn't know him before, so I met him about a year and a half afterwards. And there was this wall he had built up. He didn't trust people and couldn't sit in certain spots, had to always have his back to, facing the door. No, he had to be facing the door. He had to be able to see what was going on. And I guess they call that vigilance, but super vigilance. There were just things about him that I knew were different than other people, but they were him. And over the years, I learned that he couldn't talk about Vietnam. So I know very little about it. It was all kept inside. So whatever they saw, whatever they did over there, was not something they were able to release. So yes, I think it's much harder for men.
We have a friend here of yours. She's made a comment. I'm going to put it up so we can see what she has to say.
Who's here?
I don't know.
Cookie. Oh my gosh.
She says, I'm so glad to see this. I've known Sandie for a long time, and I'm so very proud of what she has created. I lost my husband before she did, so we understand, right?
Yes.
Cool. So Cookie's here listening up. Thank you, Cookie, for your comment.
Oh my gosh.
And anybody else that's watching, we have live watchers right now. So if you want to pop up a comment, we can pop it up on the screen, and Sandie knows that you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm overjoyed, Cookie.
Oh, great.
We
this
haven't
is such
seen
fun.
each other in many years.
Nice. So even though we're talking about death and a sadness in a way, but it's also about giving others hope. I've shared with Sandie, I lost my husband at 34. So I was very young at the time, and I actually thought my life was over because we had been childhood friends. I had known him for a very long time. and married about 14 years. And I thought, wow, like now what? Was that you, Sandie, after you lost your husband? Now what?
No. And
Okay.
I wonder if I if I was not the typical widow, but
Mhm.
all through our marriage, we always allowed each other to keep some separate interests, to keep our friends. You know, they ended up becoming our friends, not his or mine, but we still kept in touch with people. And I had my Mary Kay. His business kept us, terribly busy. Um, so yes, I felt the loss. Yes, I want him here by my side every day that goes on. But um, it just, it didn't kill me. I had things and my faith that kept me going. And I knew God wasn't done with me yet. And uh, just, I got a call this week, and somebody invited me to come to their church this Sunday and speak with their women's group. And that was like, oh my gosh. And if my book can do that, if it can give others hope that there is life after death, um, that you can still live. Go back to interests that you loved before this all happened, that you put on the side. Go back to those interests. Might be gardening, uh, whatever. Going to the movie. Can you go to the movie by yourselves these days? Of course.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can do just about anything. I
Mhm.
The other day I was going to go and pick up Penelope, the little granddaughter from preschool, and I had a little bit of time before that, and I went and sat down at an Olive Garden and had a very nice lunch all by myself, and it was so relaxing and just freedom. I mean, free. There's some freedom in being on your own, and I realized too that I had never really been on my own before,
Mhm.
that I never had an apartment of my own.
Mhm.
I I never was making decisions solely on my own. So it was a big learning experience. Yes,
Absolutely, because women in our generation, we went from our parents' home to our husband's home, right?
exactly.
That's how that worked back then.
Exactly.
So you did mention something to me that was very, very interesting, and I know we want to talk about it, but it's not something that maybe most people would consider, but you've used the word relief quite a bit. Would you like to expand on that for our viewers today?
One of the chapters in my book talks about the five stages of grief, or the five phases. And I have to say, Jim came home on a Friday afternoon, and he was, there was nothing more they could do for him. So we knew it was the end, and hospice had come, and had to give him the medicine and all that. But pretty much we had to watch him 24 hours a day, and we didn't have to do that anymore. But at 6 o'clock that morning, I had been on the night shift, and my son came in to sort of relieve me and let me take a rest. And I was laying on the couch right next to the bed, the hospital bed, and I felt this little nudge, and I must have crashed. It was like 7:03, and I got this nudge, and I heard, "Mom, I think he's gone."
Mhm.
And so then you're sort of like, what do we do now? Well, um, And I can laugh about this now because we did all the things you see on TV. Put a little mirror under his nose, listened at his chest, watched to see if he was breathing, felt for the pulse. And we were pretty sure he had left us. And so picked up the phone, called hospice, told them, I think it's happened, and they said, we'll be there as soon as possible. And we didn't feel creeped out about it or anything else, that he was right there in the front room with all of us. And we ended up, everybody was sort of beat and hungry and just exhausted. We had some home run-in pizzas in the freezer. That home run-in is in Chicago, where we came from. And every time I go back there to visit my sister, I'd have to bring home run-in pizzas home. So you don't know how relieved I was when they started selling them at some of the grocery stores out here, frozen. Sophia, at that time 6 or 7 year old, she said, Jimmy was going to cook eggs or something. She said, why don't we have Papa's pizza for him? So we sat there, and in this open living room, dining room, kitchen area, we sat there and had a pizza party with Papa. And to a lot of people, that would have sounded so disgusting. But to us, it wasn't. We were honoring him. So, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And I want to just say, I recently read where if you are with someone who's crossing over or passing, you shouldn't do anything. You shouldn't remove them. You shouldn't call the first responders or anybody for 30 minutes. You should sit with your loved one for 30 minutes before doing anything regarding getting them out of the house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, they said it had something to do with connecting the souls and allowing the peace to come over us and giving us an opportunity to process what just happened, and that we should sit with that person for 30 minutes. So you did absolutely the perfect thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just read an interesting article about that.
And hospice came, and they were just so calming and directed us what to do next. I think the worst part was when the people arrived to take him away, and this young girl said, she said, I would suggest you go outside, for half an hour or so, and until we're gone. And I thought, no, we don't want to leave him. And yet she was pretty adamant about it. And my son, he said, come on, Mom. And so we all just went in the backyard and sat there and played, and not played, but, the dogs were there, and Sophia and everything. And it was when we went back in and saw that empty bed.
Mm-hmm.
There was something about that was just, ugh. And
very hard.
So hospice took care of calling to get that taken care of as soon as possible also. But it was just the little things that hit you.
Mm-hmm.
And Virginia, yes, the relief that came in. What I was getting to was after we realized he was gone, and Jimmy woke up his sister, and she came in and everything, and then Sophia. And I have to say, I let out the biggest sigh of my life. it was like, and that I just breathed out everything, all the weight I had been carrying, um, and everything. But then soon after that, I hit guilt. And it was like, how can I feel relief that he's gone? How can I, you know, feel relief that these kids don't have a father anymore? And Sophia won't get to see her papa. And Penelope was about a month away from being born when he
right.
passed. So,
Mhm, mhm,
but that kid has his eyes. She can
mhm.
just focus in on you like he could. Oh, it was eerie, when we'd be holding this little baby and she'd just stare into your eyes, and it was like, okay, we know
Yeah,
who's there.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, there are some surprising things that happen to you also.
Yes.
And
Well, I think would it be fair to say that grief comes in waves? And it's been 40 years since I've lost my husband, but I still dream about him. I still think about him. Um, and, certain pieces of that story I didn't know, and then they show up, and then you talk to a family member who remembers something about him that I didn't remember. And, I don't think it ever goes away. What are your thoughts on that? We just learn to manage the new lifestyle.
yes, that's very true, because there are days when I think I've got it all together.
Right.
And you know, there are other days when I'm amazed I can even talk about it.
Right.
There's still days where it's been 3 years, and there's still days where I wake up and I just want to crawl back
Mhm,
into bed and do nothing.
mhm.
And at the beginning, I understood that you have to listen to your body.
Right.
You've been running on adrenaline for a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't have to go to any hospital today. I don't have to worry about what time he has to take his medicines. I don't have to worry about cleaning him up, um, whether he's eaten or not. What can we put down him to get some, fluids in
Mhm.
there, things like that. So, um, and a song comes on. I'll be, driving. Song comes on the radio, and it's like,
Yeah.
you just all of a sudden the tears
Yeah.
start.
Takes you
And
back. Takes you
mhm,
back. So let's talk a little bit about now that you have all of this time on your hands,
yes,
what have you been doing? And you wrote your book, but you've got your finger in a few pies. So would you like to share a little bit more about that? Because a lot of people our age, we're both the same age, would think that life is over now and I'll just sit around and wait for me to die and then I'll be all right. But not you, not you. What an inspiration you've been. And
thank you.
and you are, whether you realize it or not. It was different for me because at 34, I was young and I had my whole life ahead of me. So I had to prepare for that and know that I'm probably going to be here for a long time. So I had to rebuild as well. But at our age now, you have decided to rebuild. And I think that is really commendable and amazing.
Thank you.
So over to you. What are you up to?
What
Up to
am I
no
up
good, I said.
to? Well, I wouldn't put it that way, but
I'm
I
just teasing.
I went on a cruise,
Oh, great.
and I with some friends, but I didn't have to be with them. And it, for Jim wanted to take the kids on a cruise, to thank them for helping us after the toe amputations and everything before the big one. And so we were planning that. And then things got worse and worse and worse, and we never were able to go on it. Well, my friends were putting together a cruise, and I just decided I'm going to book a room. And it was a balcony room. I was going to go on it by myself if I wanted to, if I chose to. And as the time kept getting closer and closer, there was a lady at church that I did not know well. But we started talking. We started talking about I was writing a book, and it was in its infancy at that time. And she was so interested because she had just lost her mom a few months ago. So we chatted in the parking lot for probably an hour. And God laid it on my heart to invite her to go with me because I felt like we would understand each other. If we wanted quiet time alone, we could. If we wanted to be with the crowds of people, we could. Well, I did. And she probably thought I was a nutcase or something, but she prayed about it and she said yes. We had the most fun and connected so well. I have to say, we sat out on the balcony for hours and hours at a time, just talking and getting to know each other. So it was, I mean, that's one thing I did. What else have I done? I still do my Mary Kay. Still have my clients that have been with me for lots of years. After that gentleman, I'll call him, with the tongue in my cheek, disrespected me about investing and talked down to me and made me feel stupid, I decided I was going to educate myself. I was going to learn how to make myself know about investing and things like that. So I prayed about it. God brought some people back into my life that I hadn't seen in a couple years. They were in financial services. We started talking. They educated me on a whole lot. And I asked if I could do this. And they probably didn't expect that. But I have been. And so I'm life insurance licensed in 3 states now, Florida, Illinois, and California. So when I go back to see my sister in Illinois, again, it will be a tax write-off. I'm next Thursday, and keep good thoughts going for me. I am going for my securities license test.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Now,
amazing.
first of all, who thought at 70 something I could get this brain working enough to study for the state life insurance exam? You know, it took some while to study again. But I walked into that test and there were lots of young people there. And I definitely was the oldest. And I sat down, you're quiet, you can't, took the test. At the very end, all it tells you is pass or fail. And I got a pass. And
Wow.
I couldn't scream or anything, because they'd kick you out. So I just quietly walked out, and then I breathed a sigh of relief again, or a sigh of accomplishment.
Right.
And so don't ever think you're too old to do something. I have, you too, Laurie, we both have so much wisdom and common sense knowledge inside of us that people nowadays don't get to experience that. And technology and everything, we didn't have that. And there are days I'm so thankful for that.
Absolutely.
And I've always thought about writing a book about a simpler time. And it's going to have a picture of Sophia when she was a little girl on it, walking on a pier, just no care in the world. And about the difference between growing up with technology and growing up without it.
Right.
Because kids won't know what it was like to, go to your grandparents. They had an outhouse and no running water and
that's right.
Things like that. So.
All right. Well, I would love us. We've got about 10 minutes, but I'm going to pop up the banner around your book signing, and why don't you expand on that for me and share with our viewers what's happening on April 24th?
Well, I think this book has been the biggest accomplishment of my life. And the healing that took place throughout it was remarkable. That I was able to put a lot into words that I couldn't say, and to tell my story. I guess that's just it. But the book signing will be on April 24th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Oak Mountain Winery in Temecula, California. Everyone is welcome. There will be charcuterie and there will be champagne.
Nice.
So I do ask for RSVPs though, because the area can handle, X amount of people, and I'd love to see everybody come out and just celebrate it with me. And last week, the actual books came in the mail, and I'm just so happy about that.
Well, there's something about it when you see it in the physical, isn't there?
Well, I was, when we did an interview about my book. And what was funny was all I had to show was the proof copy of my book.
Right.
I didn't even have the real book yet. And just getting this in my hands was remarkable. It was...
yeah, it's now it's real.
It's real. Yeah. So anyone that reads it, I would love for them to share their feedback with me, share what it's meant to them, how it's helped them. There's a Facebook group about, it's called Surviving Spouses of Vietnam Veterans.
Oh, wow.
If anyone has been through this or is married to a Vietnam veteran, they should join that group. You can't invite people to it. They have to request that they join. And I can't post my book on there because it doesn't allow selling or anything like that. But I got more information from those women than from anyone else, than from the VA or anything, because some of them had been through it already. Some of them were going through it. Some of them were facing it coming up. And that's where I realized that maybe I was not the typical woman, because some of these women that had been married for 50-ish years, they had no other life except their husband, no other identity. And honestly, they are lost. They are grieving every day, no matter how long it's been. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
That I'm me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm the same way. I know, even though I was married and I still had my own career. I think that makes a big difference because, I've told my husband, anything ever happens to him, I'd be devastated, but we both know I'll be okay because of the way that we chose our path together and how we lived the last 33 years. So it'll be, I'll be okay. And that's a good feeling to have.
It really is, isn't it?
Yes.
That even the kids have said if I had gone first,
Oh, yeah.
that they don't know how long he would have lasted.
Exactly.
Just, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I have back issues, so excuse me.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
that how he would have survived. They
No,
don't.
exactly.
They don't know. So
So let's pump out, we have about 5 minutes. Let's pump out your book signing coming up. I wish I was close. I'd be there myself. And I wish you all the success on that and encourage as
thank you.
many people as possible to get your butts out to the Oak Mountain Winery. Sounds like a beautiful place.
Doesn't it? I mean, I can't believe looking at the mountains and
Oh, yes.
everything.
Yes.
It should be still beautiful time of the year.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe
And
snowing that day.
oh, never now.
I know.
And if you want to reach out to Sandie, here's her email. And if you want to order a book, just send it to her. Is it on Amazon or
It is on
is it on
Amazon,
Amazon as
or I
well?
can send them a signed copy if they'd
Yeah,
like.
an autographed copy,
An
nothing nicer than
autograph.
that.
That just
Yeah,
sounds so.
nothing greater. I have a little
Or,
special section in my library where these are books that were signed by the author. I have a whole set of autographed books, and there's nothing more precious than that. Those are the ones I won't ever be able to get rid of when I have to
right,
get rid of things.
exactly. And
And
we made
oh,
it on the day it was released. We
oh,
made it to #1 bestseller in like 3
great,
different categories.
great.
Um, and #1 best new topic or something
Oh,
like that, which was didn't expect that at all. But
no,
yes,
great.
so
But you see, we're
it was
talking about
needed.
things, yeah, and we're talking about things that people don't really want to talk about, but they need to
Exactly.
talk about it in order to heal,
Oh, definitely,
right?
definitely. Hmm.
Same in my world. I talk about things that people don't want to talk about.
You sure do. I know you have an upcoming event and
We
on
do.
suicide.
Yes, we're going to do a 2.5 hour workshop on April 19th, 1 month from today. If you want a seat, you better send your $20 and get one because it's going to be a sellout and youth can come for free. And yeah, it's for first responders, veterans, people in the service industry who are taking care of people who have mental illness, anything to do with suicide. But I do this workshop called 40 Reasons to Stay Alive. So would also be good for people like ourselves who lost our spouses or you've lost a child. These are very grievous moments for everyone. So if you'd like to, even if you just imagine this, Sandie, thanks for bringing it up. Imagine if out of the 40 reasons to stay alive, you only found one that resonates with you. Would that not be worth it? Because I bet nobody can make a list, 40 reasons. Oh, here's another note from Cookie. Oh, beauty.
I will be waiting and I
Oh,
will
isn't that amazing,
have a
Cookie? That's
special
amazing.
pen to sign your book with, Cookie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
And
my
thank you
God.
for the compliment, Cookie, and thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
And thank you, Virginia, for being here as well. So the only thing we ask, we don't charge money to be on the show or anything like that. It's my give back to the community. So if you have a story, if you have something interesting you'd like the world to know about, please contact me. And the only thing we ask is that our viewers share the show. Now we're on Facebook right now, my YouTube channel, Laurie Davis Show Host. Just share the show. There might be one thing that Sandie said that could help someone else. And a lot of times, because I'm in the self-worth business, many times we don't think that what we have to say has value. And it certainly does. So that's what the show is about, giving people the information, the experiences of others, telling stories, And I'm looking forward, Sandie, to having you on again. You know, people have come back. I just called a group of people yesterday. They were on my show like 5 years ago. And I said, how would you like to be on the show again? So, because we're always evolving, we're always growing, and we want to wish you the very best of luck on your securities exam.
Oh, thank you.
That's not peanuts, man. That's big stuff.
No. So I can
Yeah,
take care of other people's money and treat them properly.
that's right. That's right. So thank you, and we wish you
You're
all the best.
welcome. Thank you,
So
Lord.
you're welcome. So our time is up, and we'll just vacate the premises here shortly. And thank you so much. We broadcast once a week, every Thursday at 12 noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And yeah, stay tuned with us because we've got lots going on. Thank you so much, Sandie, for your time, and we appreciate what you've had to share.
Thank you. Bye-bye.